Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of TJ Hates Quitters over here on Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent. My name is Kari. I am joined by my co-host Katie. Katie, how are you this weekend?
I'm doing pretty good. Not much to share, pretty uneventful. How are you?
I'm good. Things aren't like super eventful over here. Tomorrow, I'm just gonna do a lot of homework because I have to start a second class tomorrow, which I'm not excited about.
Tomorrow on a Sunday, you have to start a
Oh
class?
shit, no. Well, I can access everything tomorrow. It's asynchronous, so like, it's you sign on and do your stuff whenever you want to,
Yeah.
by the due date. So I think I can access everything tomorrow, but the class doesn't technically start until Monday. But regardless, for the next 5 weeks, I'm taking 2 classes, which is my definition of miserable because I
Yeah.
also have a bunch of other like obligations, and there's like a little fly that just almost I think I just blew it out of the way. That's fun. So yeah, I'm eating flies and doing homework over here.
Amazing.
Living
What a time.
Yeah. So yeah, come on over for a good time over here in Chicago. We are living it up. Well, as I told Katie, I watched 4.5 episodes of television this morning for us to podcast about this evening.
Yeah, we have a double header in store.
We do. After this, we're going to be talking about some Real Housewives. So jump on over when you're done with this podcast. But for now, we're going to talk about the challenge. And I definitely was entertained by this episode of the challenge.
Oh, same. I've been entertained by this whole season so far.
Yeah, I really like what we're getting. It's almost like a nice refresh after just how disappointing the end of the Challenge USA was. And both of us were, you were I think that you were ready to act on your anger more than I was.
I was.
And both of us were angry. I mean, like, my Twitter mentions that week. Actually, I had a lot of people agreeing with me, and some like big names in some reality TV areas were agreeing with me, like with stuff and liking my tweets and everything with how angry I was about the Challenge USA. But the Challenge 38, I think I had such low expectations that it hasn't been hard to exceed them.
Yep. I think I agree. If it weren't for this podcast and for you being like, I'm still going to do TJ Hates Quitters, I guess, I was like, all right, I'll do it. I don't think I would be watching, but I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, it's not – the only obnoxious thing about watching is that I have to watch on the MTV app.
Yeah.
And so I have these 2.5-minute ads in between.
Yeah, that's rough.
Which I do need to make a change on something I said. Kari Lake was running for governor of Arizona, not something in Illinois. Yes. And I searched high and wide, low and
for
far
that commercial?
For that commercial and could not find it. and now I'm almost like Mandela affecting myself. Like, did I make this up? Am I misremembering that? Was I just dreaming about this big pair of fake tits with Kari Lake's face in front of them? Like, what is going on? So, I haven't seen it since, unfortunately, but
I want to make that strange
or fix that mistake. But I swear it was a real thing. I believe you. I looked on the internet legitimately for like 15-20 minutes.
That's wild.
Yeah, trying to find this video. And like my search history now is stupid.
Probably all like, janky.
Like Kari Lake fake tits. It just is. I don't know.
Oh no, and she froze while talking about Kari Lake's fake tits. Oh no, Kari, we lost you. Well, I would like to vamp here, but I really don't have too much to say, unfortunately, because we were talking about something that I don't know anything about. But I will say I do get the benefit of watching on YouTube TV. And so we have unlimited DVR, so we can actually fast forward through, because that's one thing I would not do is stick with the Challenge 38 if I had to watch it on the MTV app. There you are. Hello. I was just
Uh,
talking about how I watch on YouTube TV.
oh, you know what? We have YouTube TV, but I don't have it in my room. We have it out in the living room.
Just log
Maybe I
in
need to
on
switch.
your computer.
It's under Brett's stuff, so like I probably know the
I think you
password.
can get like a, because it's not under mine, it's under Matt's, but he can like add me as a family member. So I could just use my
Okay.
Gmail. And then you could just put it in
Oh,
your DVR. It's unlimited DVR on YouTube TV.
good to know.
And
I
then you could just skip all the commercials you want.
probably have Brett's username and password anyway. So
Oh, well, I
there
just
have been a
solved your
time where,
problem.
yeah. All right, good to know.
Yeah.
Um, very good to know. Yeah, I've definitely had to remind him of his password at least once. So
Oh, so there you go.
I'm like, I
Just
signed into
pop
your
that bad
Disney
boy in
Plus.
your
I know
library.
this. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's on there.
This could change my
Um,
life for the better.
I hope it does. I hope it does. Because for some reason, MTV, Viacom, CBS, whoever it is sabotaging the challenge by not putting it on Paramount Plus. And the challenge Olympics, whatever it's going to be called, is also not going to be on Paramount Plus.
Wait, no, 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 no. That can't be
No,
true.
I think I read that it's not going to be on Paramount Plus.
Because remember, every single time TJ brought it up, it said it would be like streamed exclusively on
I
Paramount
know,
Plus.
and I'm pretty sure I just read the other day that it's not going to be.
Where's it
I'll
going to
find
be
what I
then?
read. I don't know. MTV, I guess. I'm not
No.
sure. I'm going to look it up again. I'm going to look it up. I'm just going to look up Paramount Plus.
Have you been following the spoilers for that? We don't have to talk about
Sort
them,
of.
obviously.
Sort of.
Okay. Yeah. Um,
I've seen some. I'm not happy about something that I saw, but I won't talk about it because obviously it
I
has not been out.
yeah. I have a feeling I know what you're talking about. Um, all right, so while you're looking for that, I'll start
I don't
setting up
remember where I
this
saw
week
it.
on
Okay.
the challenge and hopefully I don't get cut off again. Um by the internet, not by you, obviously.
Uh-oh.
So stupid
I will do
Wi-Fi.
my best not to.
No, it's never you. It's always me.
It's sometimes me.
Um, so this week on the challenge, we start off. It seems like we're getting even more of a pattern with this. We're like, okay, first we have to check in on all of our couples.
Hmm.
We get like the Love Island segment of the challenge.
Yes. Yes. I guess this is just like a thing that's going to happen now.
Yeah. Um, do you have anything you want to say about any of our couples? Because I feel like, I don't know, I guess the newest couple that we got introduced to was Jay and Jack.
Jay and Jack. And we also saw Fessie's partner and Bananas, which
Hmm.
you said yesterday, right? I mean, yesterday. Oh my God. You said last week. Yesterday.
Yeah.
What? About that was happening, like, I guess, behind the scenes, but now they acknowledged it on the show.
And the best
Was her
part of
name
that was,
Moira?
sure, I could spell it. I think is it Mariah?
I have no idea. Moriah?
Moriah. I think it's Mariah.
Okay. She
Yes,
barely
I haven't
exists on the
heard the
show,
name
so.
Moira yet, except isn't that like what's it,
Schitt's
Schitt's
Creek.
Creek?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
I was
Um,
picturing the way they spell it in my head, and
yeah,
I read it out loud as Moira.
I could see that. I'm sure a substitute teacher in her day definitely called her Moira instead of Mariah, reading through
Probably.
attendance. Yeah, so her mom told her to watch out for Bananas, that he's a snake.
Isn't that like, if you're Bananas and you're a 40-year-old dude and you're talking to this girl who I assume is in her 20s, wouldn't it be like kind of rough to be like, oh, my mom warned me specifically about you? Like, that has to make you feel old.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, he's likely closer to her mom's age than
Yeah,
Kari.
probably. Probably like significantly closer.
Yeah, when I heard that, that made me laugh quite a bit.
I'm also just thinking now, like, if she is in her 20s and he's 40, it's kind of really creepy that he's even talking to her. I'm going to look up her age.
Challenge House goggles.
Yeah. She's 26. He's 40. That's inappropriate,
What's
in my opinion.
Moira's mom's name or age?
That I don't know that I'm going to be able to find out, unfortunately.
Shoot. All right. Well, yeah, we got a little bit of them, and we saw like this friendship of Jay and Jack, where
Yeah.
both of them were like, yeah, I wasn't like expecting to make such a good friend, but I think we'll be like friends for life after this. Sure.
I don't know about
Sure.
that.
Yeah. But their friendship led to one of the things I think that a lot of like old school fans have been asking for, and especially All Stars fans, which is like, oh, we got a theme party. We got people like
Yeah.
cutting loose, and between that and the pool party, we got a
Some
little bit
actual
different like
fun.
social scene. Yeah, Laurel saying like, I've been in vet school for 4 years. This is pool party is exactly what I need, which like
Yeah.
that must be a really intense vet school if this is what's like breaking
Right.
breaking the bank for you
Right.
here.
Totally.
Finally, some chlorine water and some floaties.
Right. In this house that I'm not allowed to leave
Yeah, exactly.
with the
Them
same
being
people I've been
spoiled
seeing every single day.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had some social scenes at the beginning, and I think the biggest emphasis was Jay and Jack, which obviously will be a storyline throughout the rest of this episode. But
Yes. All I want to say about the emo party is that my culture is not a costume. That's it.
you can't say that while I'm
I'm
drinking
sorry.
Bud
I'm sorry.
Light. My culture
I was
is
watching and I was like, this, I'm offended by this. Personally
that is
offended.
honestly, that is like the whitest shit you've ever said on
It
any
is the
podcast
whitest shit
you've
I've
ever
ever said.
done.
I
Like
know. I
we've
know. I
done a lot
apologize
of
if that's offensive. That's the whitest shit I've ever said.
we have probably done at least 100 podcasts together at
Yeah,
this
for
point. At
sure. For
least
sure.
I can concretely say that that is
Yeah.
the whitest shit you've ever said.
Yeah, it probably is. You're almost absolutely right, like without question.
But speaking of you bringing that up, I love Darrell going, I don't know what an emo is, but
Yeah. That I loved. And also I was like watching him and a little critically because like I said, emo is my culture.
Mhm.
He had these big earrings on. I was like, this is not emo, Darrell. This is not whatever this is not emo. But there was some impressive emo. The one I was the most impressed with was Kim.
Mhm.
I think he was walking around, he was just like, everything sucks. And I was like, that's pretty funny, actually. I don't know if he said that exactly or like I hate everything, but I was just like, yeah, that's pretty accurate.
I like Colleen and Kim. They're uh they're good rookies,
Yeah, I like them
especially
too. They've grown on me.
from like a different culture where uh I feel like it could be like a little bit more difficult. I also feel like having experience like so I had a German exchange student when I was in first grade and third grade,
Hmm.
and then in addition like one of my closest friends in Boston, he was over from Germany, that like I feel like they get like misunderstood a lot by American culture
Yeah.
just because they're like seem like super serious and like dry, and it's just like no they it I think that there's a little bit of a culture shock with it, and I don't know, I'm fans of them.
Yeah, I like them a lot. I like them. I like them better than Nom.
Yeah. Nam, I mean, I feel like Nam has to get edited to like the tragedies that have been his
Right.
experiences.
Right.
Um,
Maybe it's a sign, Nom.
yeah.
We've moved on to new German challengers.
Yeah. He apparently just finished filming a Netflix show.
What? About what?
I don't know. I didn't recognize anybody else. Um,
That's
but
strange.
there was like 8 to 10 men, 8 to 10 women. There was nothing else about it. But
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
So
Interesting.
in case anybody's a big Nom fan, you've got more Nom coming to a screen near you in the near future.
Hmm. All right. Well, great. Great for us, I guess.
Nitro is in like Nitro's Nitro's habit lately is when I'm sitting at my desk to put himself in the least convenient place for like the I bought that like meditation chair that has like that extra shelf for
Oh,
your,
okay.
So I have an extra set of chair legs that
Yeah.
also need to maneuver, and he just like successfully gets in the way of all of them. And I'm trying to arrange around him right now. You're doing me no favors, dog.
Aw.
Sorry, that's that. But so yeah,
Yeah, all good.
anyway, um emo party, pool party, and then we get into the daily challenge. And I definitely didn't listen to the directions, so I'm still
No.
not 100% sure what even happened. Like, they had to get these big, were they even puzzle pieces, or were they just
I
like,
think they were puzzle pieces, but
was
they
there a
just
puzzle
looked like
like at the end?
triangles. Yeah, like right at the, it looked like it was like 2 seconds long. They just like boop, 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 put them in a thing.
Oh, okay, okay. That makes sense. So you had to swim and get a puzzle piece, then your partner had to swim and get a puzzle piece, and then you had to get in a boat and row to the rest of the pieces. But you had to alternate between rowing.
Yes. I
Yeah,
don't know
because
why. Like one person would have to swim and then the other person would have to swim. And then one person would row to a puzzle piece and then the other person had to row to a puzzle piece. So it was like even workload distribution between partners.
Nitro's digging again. Not that there's anywhere to dig through these floors, but all
One
right,
day
he's out
he'll
of my
get
way.
there.
You heard me talk a lot of shit about him. I still love you, buddy. Um, so yeah, there's some swimming, some rowing, and then you were collecting these pieces. You bring it back, and you quickly assemble the pieces into whatever little puzzle they were, and that's that.
Yep. That's that.
So uh, in this episode, I learned that Michelle used to do long distance swimming in high school.
I learned that as well this episode.
I mean, okay, this question is going to sound dumb. So I'm prefacing with I realize what I'm saying sounds dumb.
Okay.
But what is long distance swimming?
I have no
Like,
idea. Swimming
is
for
it
long distances, I guess. I have
right?
truly no
Exactly.
idea.
Like, is that something that you're on like the normal swim team and you just swim like 100 laps and that's your long distance swimming? Or are they throwing you out in a fucking lake and like you're swimming in
I
like,
have no
like,
idea.
like I did long distance swimming in high school. Like, okay, cool. I get that you're setting us up to tell us like why you're going to be good at this
Yeah.
challenge. I, as someone who was in high school for a lot of years in my life because I was in high school myself
Yeah.
for 4 years and then
In a
taught
high
high school.
school. Yeah.
I was in high school for about 16 years of my life, right? Like
Yeah.
never once have I heard of long distance swimming as a sport.
Did any of the high schools that you were in for those years, did any of them have a pool? Because my high school did not have a pool growing up.
Only the last one that I was in
Okay.
Chicago had a pool. Um, I'm surprised that the high school I was in that I went to in Connecticut didn't have one because we were like the second biggest high school in the state.
Oh.
So, um, or maybe like third biggest. We're a big high school. Like we should definitely be two schools, but they kept them together so we can
Hmm.
continue to be athletic powerhouses. um, so,
Yep.
truly, but um, no, just the one that I was in Chicago.
Hmm.
So I know that there were swim teams, but again, even like the swim teams that I had friends on the swim team in high school. I just never have heard of long distance swimming.
No.
What? See,
No, I
this
have
is
no idea.
why my FBI guy thinks I'm a fucking moron because I'm Googling what is long
FBI.
distance swimming.
Oh, like just random like
FBI guy in our computer, like just
oh.
Patriot acting us, making
Yeah.
sure
Oh, yeah.
up like ways to commit domestic terrorism and things like that. So
Yes.
like
Yeah, we were constantly getting Patriot acted.
yeah, this week I have Googled what is long distance swimming and Kari Lake fake pit. Like there's someone gangs just being like, what?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know. I assume maybe it's just more laps in the pool, kind of like how long distance running is more laps on the track.
So this says are longer than typically swum in pool conditions. So
Okay.
where do they swim them?
I can't find the tweet, by the way, that said Paramount Plus will not be streaming world whatever. But I feel like I definitely saw it somewhere, so I'll come back. That'll be my homework.
Okay.
And now I'm fully spoiled on the season because I thought I saw it on Gamer Vev, and now I just see everything that's happening.
Got it. All right. I don't know. Based around seas and lakes, according to www.greatswim.org. So,
Okay.
okay. So Michele might have been swimming. She's from New Jersey originally. So you have the good old Atlantic Ocean right there to do some long
Sure.
distance swimming in.
The Hudson River, depending on where you are in New Jersey, there's plenty.
So yeah, there's that. Michele was a long distance swimmer in high school. And Jay is just like good at extreme sports, it seems like, or like weird sports.
Yeah. Well, I
Like,
also just assume that anybody that's on Survivor is going to be good at a swimming challenge because every challenge on Survivor has swimming, basically. At least all the team challenges do. Maybe not the individual, but like before the merge, it's like most of them have some kind of water component.
yeah, you're right. I think of Jonathan literally swimming his team to victory in the one where they had to
Fuck
like
Jonathan,
quit
though.
the. Could you? He would be good on the challenge in terms of like competing in challenges.
I'll
I'm not
pass.
saying I want him on here. I could see him giving some of these athletes a run for their money, but I don't need him on. You
No,
can.
I'll pass.
So yeah, we had two heats, and the first heat, Jay and Michele won.
Much
Pretty
to the I don't know the word I'm looking for, but Laurel
chagrin.
was not happy. Yeah, of Laurel. Laurel was not happy.
And we had the second heat where
The second heat was a
Devin,
mess.
yeah. So you had Devin and Tori, Jordan and Nisa, and was there anybody else?
Fessy,
Bessie and
Fessel,
yeah. Oh yeah. Vessel and
Mariah,
Moira. Mariah.
Bananas and Nani.
Yeah. But the issue with the second heat was that almost no one could figure out how to row a boat.
This was the craziest thing to me because it's like they couldn't even figure out how to hold the oars. And I'm like,
Yeah.
guys, what is hard about going like this and just grabbing them? Why are you
Watching
going underneath?
Mariah,
That was wild to me.
it
Wild.
looked like she was trying to swim with the oars in a way. The way that like she was like trying to freestyle swim, the way the order of her hands and arms were going.
It did not make any sense. The way
No.
that she was holding it, it was like none of it made any sense to me.
And Jordan has one hand and was able to
Yeah.
oar his way around
Yeah.
where
Good for Jordan.
other people have two, and we're like, what is this?
Yeah, that was a mess. The whole thing. Nani as well. A mess. Amber and Chauncey sunk their boat.
Yeah. TJ was like, it's basically impossible to do this, but you did it.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, there was a lot of mess. This was kind of a fun challenge because everybody was just kind of a mess. At least in the second heat. The first heat, everybody had it together for the most part. But that second heat was rough.
Yeah. Wasn't great, but
I don't remember who won the second heat.
Devin and Tori.
Right. Right.
So they were like, we're not sure where we stand with Michele and Jay, so we really hope we beat them. But Michele and Jay won. And I mean, that
They
was
made
really
some
it.
decisions,
They
some
did.
choices.
Something we should highlight, though, that Burger King is back. And
Oh, yeah, Burger King is back.
so Burger King gave Jay and Michele, what, $5,000?
Yep, they got $5,000, and then
I
everybody
don't
got
know
a
if it
Burger
was
King feast. I think it was probably
total.
together. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was total. I mean, I don't know. I'm just assuming.
Yeah. So there was a Burger King feast for everybody after, which again included a great Darrell moment of him standing there in like a paper crown, just chomping away. Love
Well,
that guy.
Darrell also won in the past like a lifetime supply of Burger King or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
I'm
he's
sure
probably like, fuck, more Burger King? Like, I mean,
maybe
I
get
want to
like
know how
Wendy's.
that's going. Like, is he still eating the Burger King? Are they still providing it to him? How is he getting it? How are they determining what a lifetime supply is? Like, I want to know.
It's like the guy in Philadelphia who's eating a rotisserie chicken every
Yes.
day.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about this. We could do it offline, but I wanted to get your opinion on that, given your
On
rotisserie
rotisserie chicken week?
Yeah.
Or on him. I mean, listen.
Do you feel like he stole your thunder? Did you know
So
about him before you did?
I had no
Because I didn't think
idea.
so either. Okay.
No. And like, I think I explained to you how this organically came
Yes, you
up,
did.
like my
You did.
idea of rotisserie chicken week. I
Hmm.
had no clue. It was during rotisserie chicken week. Do you know how that's when he started gaining steam?
Oh.
It was
I
early
was like,
on.
wow, rotisserie chicken's really having a moment here.
Yeah, honestly, I've thought the same thing. I'm like, shit, I wasn't even original, but like, I guess me and this guy could be on the same team.
But he's
Um,
eaten it, what, for 40 days or something like that?
a full one for 40 days. Like he come watch me eat a
That's,
whole rotisserie chicken. Well, he did the 40th one. I don't know if he's still going. I haven't kept up with rotisserie chicken guy, but I know that he did at least for 40 straight days eat a whole rotisserie chicken. Where I just only ate rotisserie chicken. So dude could have still gone and ate what he wanted outside of that. And like
I think he stopped.
at
He
40.
stopped. Yeah, I think he stopped at 40.
Okay, so I'm not gonna try and like one up rotisserie chicken man, at least not right now.
Yeah.
However, as someone who ate rotisserie chicken every meal for a week, people are more impressed with this than they should be. Because
Yeah.
here's why. Um, in 3 meals in a day, I ate basically 3/4 of a rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
So if I really want to eat a
A full.
rotisserie chicken every single day, like we don't know, did he just sit and eat
Right. Like, I don't think he was eating it all in one
straight?
sitting.
I
I
think he
mean, I
did it
have
for
no
like
idea.
the last one, quite a few people showed up.
Yeah.
So if he was every single day just sitting there and eating a full rotisserie chicken and like not getting up until he was done with that, like that was his task for the day,
Right.
I am more impressed. But otherwise, like I don't think it's as impressive as people think it is
No, I
if
don't
you're
think so
spreading
either.
it out over a whole day because I think like really the only reason that I didn't eat a full one in a day was for two reasons. One, I didn't have a car for the first 4 days of rotisserie chicken week, so I was having to get my rotisserie chickens like Instacarted delivered to me. Um, so I was really trying to like not get a chicken delivered to me every day.
Uh huh.
Um, but two was because it was like, all right, I'm kind of hungry right now, but do I really want to eat rotisserie chicken as a snack as well?
Right.
Like, now
Right.
let's just drink some water, get through this, and like
Yeah.
sleep it off. Where if I had actually like fulfilled my snack needs for this, I think I could have easily eaten a rotisserie chicken a day. Or if I hadn't eaten vegetables with my
Yeah.
dinner, I would have just needed more food,
Right.
which
Right.
would have
Right.
so not taking anything away from what this guy did, but having experienced 7 days of rotisserie chicken, I just want to give some perspective out there for the
Yeah,
people
I
who
get
are
it.
like, oh my God, look what this guy's doing. Like, honestly, you could probably, and not you, Katie, I mean, like the
Hmm.
general you could do this too.
Yeah. I believe it. I believe
So,
it.
not to completely derail, but how's tofu week going?
It's going good. Okay, so I didn't have tofu today. I had today is the first day I didn't have tofu for one of my meals because we were out. But I just had like a piece of fish and like some vegetables, so it wasn't anything bad. But it's been good. It has been not as hard as I thought, but I'm starving all of the time. So there's
All
that.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm eating like more meals than I usually eat. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't usually eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I'm constantly hungry. And everybody says you're supposed to be more full from protein. It's supposed to keep you fuller longer. And I'm like, where is the fullness? I'm not full at all. I'm not full at all.
But also, how many Orange Theory classes did you do this week?
3 or 4?
Yeah, see, you're
Every
also
like
like,
every other day, pretty much.
yeah, you are also working out intensely for an hour, which is probably why
That's
you
also
even need
true.
more food than like if you were to compare it to if you didn't do
That's
Orange
true.
Theory at all this week. I feel like you would probably feel less hungry.
You're probably right. And I've been a little less strict than you. Like I've been having like vegetables or fruit as snacks in between.
Oh, if I were to do, I will probably do it again.
Yeah.
But it won't be as like strict. It'll be
Yeah.
like my lunch and dinner will include vegetables with it
Yeah.
and things like that. But
Yeah.
no, I don't think you're like, I mean, given the rules I made them up.
I know. I was trying to follow your rules. I followed them for the most part, but then I was like, I need to just like eat some fruit or
No,
something
no,
to
no.
like bring me
I'm not
back to
judging.
life.
I think it's shit.
Oh no. Oh no.
My water with Neo in it just spilled it all over.
No.
I'm I'm smart. All right, Nitro, don't even look at me in that tone of voice. I'm gonna grab a rag if you want to just talk to the
Okay.
people.
Yeah, I'll talk to the people. I'll divert back to the challenge. So yeah, I feel like we diverted pretty far. We're just talking about eating habits. We do this a lot. We divert pretty often.
I honestly
Well, oh,
assumed we
you're
would happen
back.
more. Well, I'm here cleaning up my mess.
Yeah.
I honestly, and I could hear everything because I have my headphones on. Uh, I assumed we would divert more during, what's it called? The real
Housewives.
world, not real world, real housewives. Shit, I'm panicking right now.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're
Trying
good.
to
As
think of
long as your
why.
electronics are okay. That's the most important
Yeah,
thing.
we got close, but it only got the microphone, which like the bottom part is a stand, so that's fine.
Okay. Okay. So
But
you're good.
yeah, I figured we divert more on that one. But you know what?
Yeah, we're getting it all out.
If you've listened to us before, you know this
Yeah,
happens.
you should
Like,
expect this.
there's no surprises right now,
Yeah.
except throwing water everywhere.
No, it's all good. Well, to bring it actually back to the conversation we were just talking about with Orange Theory and this challenge, that if anybody is familiar with Orange Theory or is not familiar with Orange Theory, it's like three different, it's like high intensity workout, whatever, but there's three different, there's like a floor, so like a strength section, and then there's a rower and a treadmill. So it's like a third of each of those in the class. So I was watching the challenge and watching these people row, and I was like, have these people never used a rower before? Because it literally looks like it's almost the exact same thing. I didn't know that the seats in a rowboat like that were on a track. So I'm like, oh, this really is just like a row machine. Like, so all you have to do is literally pull it and then push it back in and pull. I would have an issue turning though. I think Nani had an issue turning. It looked like people were going in the wrong direction. That I understand, but I was just like, wow, like one, this is almost exactly the same as this workout machine called the rower, which I guess makes sense. And then two, like, how do you guys not know how to just hold the thing? Just picture a rowing machine and put your hands where you would put it on a rowing machine, except on the oars of the actual boat.
Well, didn't Mariah even say like I do this at the gym?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, why? Then why don't you know what you're doing? It just feels like it should. I mean, again, granted, I've never rowed a boat, but it feels like it should be the same.
Yeah, I've never used a rowboat, but I mean, I've definitely like kayaked and canoed.
Yeah, I've
And then
kayaked before.
I feel like it
Had
can't be
trouble
that far off.
turning.
Makes sense. Turning could be difficult with those.
Yeah,
I feel like it's easier when it's a one person than a two person.
I think
I
I was by
kayaked
myself.
outside Tom Brady's house. We tried to access his Wi-Fi.
What was it called?
We couldn't even
Um,
figure out which network this is, but he lives like on the water and you can kayak there. So I have a picture of me flipping off Tom Brady's house in a
nice,
kayak. Yeah,
nice.
but he got his revenge because I got blisters from kayaking that day. So the revenge of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
All right. So in
Anyway,
conclusion, Jay and Michele win, and
Burger King is back. I was watching that Burger King segment, and I was like, I could eat the shit out of that Burger King.
yep.
I was so hungry when I was watching it.
And after we have the deliberation, but there's not much like conversation before that, is there?
I don't think so. I think it's just like Burger King time.
Okay. So we have a lot of people who are like, yeah, we're not sure where Michele and Jay stand with things, and like they say they're with the rookies, but they're also still vets, and Michele is very friendly with the vets, and blah blah. So in
Jay is a vet.
I
He's
mean,
been on like a number of challenges.
this is his third.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
I thought this was at least like his fourth, but I guess not. Okay.
And
All
Michelle's
right. So he's still pretty
second.
early.
Her and Jay are the only players who have come from American Survivor and have returned to a challenge season.
That's interesting.
Any other Survivor player has only done one challenge season.
So who else do we have? We had Michaela, we had Natalie,
Tommy,
and Tommy. Is it just those three from Survivor?
Uh, I'll say yes, but I'm
Michaela
sure
was
I'm wrong.
robbed, by the way.
Yeah, she had a list, and then like 6 episodes later, they show like Corey making a list too.
I
So,
can't.
um, yeah, they were just looking for reasons with Michaela.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of happened to her first Survivor season too. They were like looking for
Yes.
reasons to get rid of her. But
Yes.
oh, she was actually supposed to be on this season, but
Oh,
she
was
backed
she?
out. Yeah,
Oh,
she was.
interesting.
Her and Corey Lay got very close from that
Oh,
season,
okay. Yeah.
and then I think she got offered a new job, and she
Oh.
was like, "I'm looking to film this show. Can I have this time?" And they
And they
said
said no.
no.
Oh, shit.
And she was like, okay, I can't be on it, which then prevented Corey from being on it. But him and Michaela like had a fallout, and I don't. Supposedly it was over this. Supposedly it
Uh,
wasn't over this, depending on who you ask. But
Corey's a little too messy for my taste on the internet.
okay, that's the next point I was gonna bring up is like for someone who is only on one season of the challenge and was there for like no more than 5 episodes, not
Yeah.
even maybe. Um, he's just like a little bit too involved in the challenge
I
Twitter
totally
sphere for
agree.
me.
Totally agree.
And so that's why when he was like, "Oh, Michaela, blah blah blah," like, yeah, we're not friends anymore, but like, I still have respect for her or whatever. I was just like, I don't know if I believe your side of the story or should take this as like fact because, like, yeah, obviously you're involved with it, but I just think you need to have like an asterisk next to things that
Yeah.
you say.
Yeah. Agreed. It feels like he got in way too deep, way too quickly. Like you said, for someone that was only on a couple of episodes of one season, it's like he's way in it in the drama. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm going to need you to be in at least like one season or perform better on the one season that you were on to make more of a splash here on the internet. Like, it's too much.
right. No, I agree. Also, I can't like the show he came from. Well, just I don't know,
I
but
don't even know what it
it
was.
was like some
Some
like
like
Hallmark.
Hallmark dating show or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah, very really grabbing for any and all
He was
people we
good on
can
the
get on the
show
show.
from what I remember. I think that's the season I stopped watching, but he was a good personality on the show.
Yeah, he had rough last episode because he called in Huey, and in their elimination, it was Huey and Amber because Amber got
Right.
blindsided by
Oh,
Fessy,
right. Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
and
Okay.
then after,
And Huey beat
it,
him, but they were talking
yeah,
shit to each other. I remember that.
during it, and then afterwards, like Corey, who's like twice his size or Huey's size, like starts like shoving him and stuff,
Yeah,
and
that I remember.
PJ was like, the women played this challenge with grace. Like the
Yeah.
men need to learn a lesson. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mess.
So there's that. But
Yeah.
back to good old
Anyway.
deliberation. We have the biggest question on the table is Nani and Bananas put Michelle and Jay in to the lair. Should they return the favor to Nani and Bananas?
Yeah, they should have, but they chose not to.
Exactly. So we see Michelle and Jay going back and forth between each other about it, and um, I'm interested what you think in Jay being like, "You're better than this, or better at this than I am. You're better at the social game than I am. Like, what do we do?"
You know, I do generally think that Michelle is better than Jay at the social game, but she fumbled the bag here so badly just because she wanted to keep her friend Ani safe. All of this
Mhm.
made no sense. This whole thing, every single person they put in made no sense. The fact that they put in Colleen and Kim made no sense. The fact that they put in Laurel and Jack made no sense. It was like something that Michelle just made up in her head. Like these are people that they probably could have worked with because of the connection that Jay and Jack had. Anissa and Jordan could have made sense if they were against all of the other veterans, but like Darrell and Veronica, why? Like they're brand new, they don't have as many connections. It just didn't make any sense.
So I have read that I can't remember where I read this. I read a summary of the official challenge podcast, so it could
Okay.
have come from there, but um, essentially whether or not it was true, people were telling Michelle that Laurel didn't like her.
Okay. So that would have been really good context to put in the episode.
Right. And so I think we saw Michele, in especially later in the episode,
Yeah.
approach Laurel with the disposition of like, clearly there's something like
Yeah.
weird between us.
Yeah.
And whether or not Laurel did or didn't like Michele, I mean, Jay said it best, like, you can't read Laurel.
Right.
She's like, it's hard if you don't know her well and she doesn't like let you come in just even a tiny bit. I can understand the confusion, but especially when other people are telling you like, no, Laurel doesn't like you.
Right. Yeah. That,
That
I mean,
makes,
okay, that makes it make a little more sense.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't think it came from nowhere, but I don't think we were given the context because then it
Right.
makes Michele and Jay's move seem far more like erratic than
Yes.
what it might have been.
Very much so. Yes.
Because let me say that I do think that they should have put Nani and Bananas in just because, like, tit for tat, the biggest reason, but the second
Yeah.
biggest
Like you
reason
have a
is,
built in reason.
yeah, the second biggest reason is like the one that came up a lot, which is you have so many vets who are confused as to why you didn't. So now, like,
Right.
if you're if you're hard to read, I feel like it's going to be even harder to get in with people, especially if they have this like, oh, survivor players like aura around them,
Yeah.
that you have that reason to do so. But here's the biggest reason why I do think some of their veteran choices make sense. Like Laurel said, like Jack and I aren't winning anything
Right.
right now. So who is more likely to be able to protect them? I think it'd be Nani and Bananas. Like
But
that
have
whole
they?
like
Oh, they
IOU
won. Yeah, they
thing.
won. Then put them in. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, can Anissa and Jordan/Gordon win something? Sure.
Sure.
I definitely think they can. That's a definite possibility. So putting them in was a little confusing to me.
Yep.
And I feel like they had to go one of two ways with, they could have not had to, they could have gone one of two ways with Darrell and Veronica, which is, yeah, they are the easy vote and we don't really know them. Or you guys are in this weird spot in the house,
Right.
this very weird spot in the house. If you can get them on your side, yeah, they
Right.
might not win, but they are socially connected,
Yep.
especially Darrell. Like he's played, like Darrell has the respect of so many people in that
Oh
house.
yeah. Yeah, and I feel like we even saw last week Veronica be more open to working with Olivia and Horacio because they don't have a lot of. They came in really late. They were the last ones to come in, and they don't have like all of those connections that the other vets have. And like we talked about, I think last week, is that it doesn't seem like Veronica and Bananas are like friendly. And we
Yeah.
even saw Veronica and Anissa this week have a little bit of like, yeah, we're friends, we have a connection, but Anissa's
Yeah.
like besties with everyone. She's like really socially ingrained. She plays these games all the time. Like Veronica, don't. So I don't think I have a strong enough relationship with Anissa where she would save me over some of these other people. So
Hmm.
like Veronica and Darrell are numbers that could have been picked up with for the
Hmm.
rookies, I think.
Yeah. You could have easily swapped out Darrell and Veronica for Bananas and Nani and had, sure, you would have maybe made Bananas and Nani mad, but no, I don't think anybody would have held that against them
No.
because it makes more sense
And they
for
were
them to come
expecting to
in.
go in. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes far more sense for them to be in there than it doesn't, or like than that they're not in there.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
And I think that that move like will make it harder for other people to trust you because it's like you're not predictable.
Yeah, this was a total fumble. I think at the end she was like, I would rate our week in power a 2. And I was like, I would go lower than a 2. I wouldn't even give yourself that extra. Give yourself a 1. It
Mhm.
was terrible.
And if we want to get like cross show analytical here, I don't think Michelle really ever played Survivor from a place of power. I
Yeah,
mean,
not
especially
really.
Winners at War, she was the underdog the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And then on her season that she won, at least I know that there's drama and controversy around that season in terms of the way it was edited, but it
Yeah.
really seemed that like Aubrey and her auto vote Joe really
Uh-huh.
had more Aubrey had like control,
Yeah.
and once Aubrey lost Joe to some meat, that's when things changed.
Yeah.
Um, so I just feel like she's not really played from a place of power. That
Right. Yeah, we
this
really
might be
haven't
the first time
seen
she's
her.
done it.
Yeah, and Survivor's so different because even if it's like you win an immunity challenge, like you're still just immune. You're not putting
Yeah,
people up or it's not like a Big Brother where if you get power, then you have the chance to like make a decision on who is up on a block or who's going into an elimination. It's just like you're keeping yourself safe and then the tribe is voting and you have your say, but it's not like you are nominating two people to go home or something like that. So it's different for sure.
Valencia put up one of the worst pictures I've ever seen of myself on Twitter. I just saw it. Valencia, you did me dirty. I'm like this in it. Like
Oh my
I don't know what
god.
I'm doing. Thanks,
Oh my god.
Valencia. Luckily, only people that follow you can reply. So
It's not really the best of me either, to be fair, but that's okay. It's all right. It's an
um,
out of context screenshot.
yeah. Well, the context is I don't even know what the context was. But anyway, yeah, no, I completely agree with you. So
Yeah.
we bring in the duos for their like meeting with Jay and Michele. I can't remember the order, but we know
Were
that
Jordan and Anissa first?
I think Colleen and Kim might have been.
Maybe, yeah. This one
And
really made no sense to me because, like, Colleen and Kim, first of all, they just won last week. Like, give them a break. And second
mhm,
of all, like, they would have been more on your side than probably anybody else in the house.
yeah,
So why? It just, because they're an easy vote? Like, it's stupid.
yeah, they're an easy vote, but they should also be easy numbers to pick up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
totally.
Um, and the big thing is like, well, we don't really talk game, and I don't really like when people use that as an excuse because like talking goes two ways. Like you can
Right.
initiate
You're not talking
conversation,
game either. Yeah.
I can initiate a conversation, and so for that to be the reason, like I'd be like, yeah, and you've never talked game to me either. It just so happens that
Yeah.
you did long distance swimming in high school. Like
Right.
that's the reason why you're on that side and I'm on this side right now. We could have talked game.
It's giving me like online mini social strategy game that like have breakout rooms being like, oh, I'm nominating you because I just like wasn't in a room with you. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, this is a stupid reason.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And then, so nothing like really monumental came from that. We had Darrell and Veronica come in.
Yep.
Their conversation wasn't too tumultuous, but it was just
Mm-mm.
kind of like, we get it, but like, why?
Right.
Are we just gonna keep putting us in? Okay, fine, whatever. And um, it also seemed like this is where I also didn't understand their moves, that they were trying to evaluate like of these four people that they are putting down to potentially go into elimination, who's most likely to save them afterwards. And it's like the correct answer is none of them. You pissed
Literally.
off all four.
I know. And it's like, hopefully we can work together in the future. It's like, if you wanted to do that, then you shouldn't have put them in
Yeah, just
because
because you
there's
guys
no guaranteed safety here.
right. Just because you guys are dumb enough to save the team that didn't put or that put you in doesn't mean that anybody else is going to do that for you.
Right.
Because you
Right.
saw the reaction from everybody else when they came in there being like, why the fuck aren't
Yeah.
bananas
This
and
was a
money
mess. A
here?
mess.
So this is where I also thought that it was more like survivor gameplay where I feel like in the challenge, once someone gets picked for something, like you continue to beat up on that person until they're
Yep.
eliminated, essentially.
Yep.
Where in survivor, like you could vote with someone to vote out your closest ally on day 10, and on day 11 you're now trying to vote that person
Yeah.
out, like just because.
Every week of gameplay or like block of game, it's
Yeah,
not really like a full week, is different in Survivor. Like it's all circumstantial and very different. But in Big Brother and on the challenge, it's like people hold on to these
yeah,
grudges and these things because again, it's not like they're very easy excuses because you have a position of power that you can then like nominate other people, and then it's either very easy to renominate those same people that have already been up 100 times. Like we see it all the time on Big Brother. We see block stars all the time. Or same here, people just going into elimination until they go home. It's something that happens all the time
yeah,
because it's easy. The decision's already been made by the other person. So it's like, why piss off someone else? I'm already pissing these people off. They've already been pissed off. They've done it before. They're an easy vote in, which is
yeah,
boring. It's boring to watch on Big Brother
yeah,
and the challenge. It's boring to watch.
yeah, I agree. And then Anissa and Jordan come in, and this is where it starts to get a little heated in the
Yeah.
fact that like Anissa's like, I don't understand why I'm down here, which to an extent, like that's an easy thing to say when there is a more logical pair to be down there, but it doesn't mean
Anissa and
that.
Jordan should have been there. That's the
Yeah,
only choice that made
exactly.
sense.
Like just because Nani and Banana should have been down there doesn't mean they should have been down there in place of Jordan and
No,
Anissa,
they should have been down there in place of either Kim and Colleen, Laurel
Jarrell
and
and Veronica.
Jack, or Darrell and Veronica.
Yeah. So, I did agree with Jordan though when he was like, "You guys trying to figure out who's with or not with you by doing this like is stupid. Like this
Yeah,
is what makes you untrustworthy." I definitely did agree with that, but Anissa let him know like it does not make sense that Nani isn't in here right now.
right.
And then Anissa was, so I think Anissa and Devon are hosting the podcast this year is or season. I
Oh,
could be wrong.
I don't
I
know.
based off of what I read on Reddit, again, I'm not very pro that podcast because they make it seem like the only things that happen
Yeah,
are the things that we see on camera, which is not true.
yeah.
Um, that when they interviewed Jay and Michele, like Anissa would barely let them even explain their side of it. She just was like still getting all up in arms about it.
They just shouldn't have people who are on the show that season hosting the podcast.
Yeah, I get that they like know more of what went on than people who weren't, but at the same time, um, there's a bias. There's a heavy bias that
Right,
comes with
totally,
it.
totally.
Yeah. So the last pair that came in was Jack and Laurel, and
This was my favorite thing.
Michelle, like, it's like, I feel like if you had won, then the sizes would be reversed and I'd be over there. And I do feel bad, but I don't know if you want to work with me. And Jay's like, Jack, like, I love you, man. I'm sorry. And Michelle goes, like, are you going to say anything?
This silence, like the dead silence in between, like, so are you guys going to say anything? And when Laurel says, did you ask a question? I fucking died. I died. I just love Laurel so much. She has the energy that I just want to have like throughout my entire life when like just no fucks given at all.
Yeah, that was
Did you ask a question?
right. It almost was like Michelle was looking for some sort of like validation from Laurel
Right.
that she made this move, where I feel like Laurel would have respected it a lot more if they sat down and Michelle goes, listen, you are a threat in this game.
Yep.
Neither of us have talked game with each other. Jack, I get that you and Jay are friends,
Mm-hmm.
but our our team relationships are better with a lot other people in here than they are with your team
Yeah.
relationship. And
Yeah.
add in your threat level, Laurel, that's why you're here.
Uh-huh.
However, if right now you decide the two of us can look out for each other, then going forward, let's do that. Like instead of Michelle being like
It's almost like
afraid
she's
in
like
the corner of what
looking
she did.
right, like looking for Laurel to be like, no, I really do like you, which is like not Laurel.
Yeah.
And it's weird to take that approach this season because with the four people even going down there, no like I said before, like no one is guaranteed safety. It's not like the people in who won the challenge that week get to choose the two people that are going down. It's like they choose one team and then the one of the other teams chooses someone else. So it's like really a crapshoot when you're
Mm-hmm.
picking these four people. So to say like, well, you know, I just wanted to see where your head was at and like if you like me or not. It's like, well, you should have fucking asked me that yesterday instead of pulling me in and risking my safety. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like maybe after say like, listen, I don't think you like me, but I want to be able to move forward with you, so I didn't put you in. Then maybe
Mm-hmm.
like there would be a road forward. But to risk them going in, which I mean, we'll talk about obviously what happened after that, but like it doesn't feel like it makes any sense like from a strategic standpoint to just be like, oh, I hope we can move forward. It's like, well, we should have had this conversation separately then, and you shouldn't have put me in if you actually want to work with me, because
Yeah.
everybody's at risk for going home, every one of them.
Right. Yeah, there's no safety if you're in that four.
No,
So,
you just have to pick
um,
the right sword.
exactly. After these deliberations happen, the biggest thing, I can't remember if there was anything. Oh, there was a couple of things. We get Darrell and Veronica talking strategy, and Veronica brings up the interesting point of like, listen, we're going in almost regardless every single time. We're the scapegoats. Do we try and join up with the other scapegoats, aka Kim and Colleen? So if we pull the safe sword, like we save each other, and that way it's whoever this like third pair that goes in um, with us is going to have to be put in each time. And so we don't see if a conversation happens with that, but Darrell's like, that's not the worst idea. Like, let's do what we got to do.
It's not the worst idea. It's really not. I think it's smart because for some reason, Darrell and Veronica are not being treated with the respect that they deserve. As TJ said, she's the winningest or has won the most finals, I guess. She's not the winningest because it's Ashley Mitchell monetarily. But,
Mm-hmm.
and Darrell is the only person to consecutively win four finals in a row. Like, respect them as the veterans they are. It's almost like they're too early on to be included in like the current group of vets that's there. Plus, they came
Yeah.
in so late that it feels like they're on the outside. So I would have loved to have seen Veronica and Darrell rally up all these like rookie or like close to rookie teams that aren't deeply ingrained with like the Jordans and the Tories and the
Mm-hmm.
Bananas and really put something together.
Yeah. So we've got that strategy, and then we see Michele go and try and talk to Laurel. So Michele goes into Laurel's room, sits down, is like, hey, can we talk? And um, Michele did the like, so how are, like, where are you at? Like, how are you feeling with this? And Laurel's like, took the Laurel saying, like, I don't know what you're asking me, to me was just her being difficult in this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't tell me no one in your life has ever been like, hey, so like, where you at right now? How you feeling? You don't know what that means. And like her saying, well, I'm going into elimination. Like that's where I'm at. Like, no, actually physically right now you're on the bottom bunk of a bunk bed in this
Yeah.
nice house.
Yeah.
Michele, I think like didn't do herself any favors by how she started the conversation, knowing
No.
how bad the conversation went in the deliberation. But Laura was being difficult in that moment as well.
I think the thing is like Michele comes across, and I don't think Michele is a weak person, but in comparison to Laurel, she obviously is nervous to talk to Laurel, right? It doesn't seem like
Mm-hmm.
she's like super confident in these conversations with her and is very much like wanting something in return from Laurel. So she's immediately giving Laurel the upper hand in every single conversation because she's just like waiting for Laurel to be like, it's okay what you did. And Laurel will never do that. So it's
Yeah.
like, that's what Michele wants. So she comes in and she's kind of like meek and like, you know, hey, how's it going? And that just gives Laurel the upper hand to be an asshole. And like I
Mm-hmm.
think Laurel will take that route every single time instead of being like, "Hey, I know you put me in, but like it's cool. We can work through it if I come back." Like, no, that's not Laurel.
No, Michele would have had to be direct of like,
Yeah. She should have
I
came in
know
and been like,
I,
"Listen, I know you're pissed.
yeah,
Here's where my head was at. Like, where's your head at right now? Could we come back from this? No, we can't. Okay, cool. At least I know where I stand."
yeah. And it's not that I don't think Michele has that in her, but I do think that there's some merit to people who are telling her that Laurel doesn't like her. So,
Yeah, for sure.
but it doesn't matter. Like, you have to approach Laurel with in a certain way.
You have
Laurel's
to
not
give her
going
that
to
same
bend to
energy.
anybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Michelle was almost acting like Michelle is a victim in the
Hmm.
situation. And like you're the one that won. You made the decision to put Laurel and Jack in. And now you're looking for someone to like pat you on the back and be like, it's okay. And like that will never happen with 90% of the people that you put in, 75% of the people that you put in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with Laurel, like, she knows it's a game, but because of her personality, it just is like so intense
Yes.
that it's just, she's a different breed. Like,
She really is.
you can't approach her like how you would approach Nani, like going up to Nani and crying about how you guys thought you had a better connection. Like, that's not going to work with a
No.
Laurel.
No.
Um,
And I don't know if that's Laurel. Like I don't follow Laurel on social media and I don't really like keep up with a lot of the challenge people on social media, but I don't know like personality wise if this is like an intensity that she just puts herself in when she's in the
oh no,
game
this
or
is
if she's
Laurel.
like this all the time. Okay.
This is Laurel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough.
So this conversation failed quite miserably for
Yeah.
definitely Michele, and I Laurel's still where she's at.
Yep. Yep, not much has changed.
Yeah. So we head on over to the elimination, which it has the what is it called this time?
I have no
It
idea.
has a weird name. No, no, it's the lair. You have to go down to the lair. There was something else though that was said. I don't know. Whatever. Ignore it. It's called the lair. We'll just keep going. And Jay and Michele have to pick who's going in, and they say because this has nothing to do with Jack, but Laurel is very difficult to communicate with, so we are going to put Laurel in.
This is the biggest mistake they could have possibly made. If you're going to have Colleen and Kim in the group, they should have been the people going down.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense because no one's going to save them. They have no if you don't put them down initially, they have no unless they pick the safe sword, like they're going in anyway. So they're like and if they're pissed at you, they don't really have the social capital to make everybody else pissed at you. But to put in Laurel and Jack, Laurel who is clearly very vindictive, Jack who also seems to be very vindictive with the way he reacted, and then to make a speech like that to say like, "Oh no, this is specifically because your partner is an asshole," basically. What are they doing? Like this was just a wild misplay to me.
Yeah, and I mean Jay contributed to it, but Michele was kind of the ringleader of it. And I mean, the only thing that makes sense to me with this is I'm sure that once Michele and Laurel had their conversation post the deliberation,
Am I
that
completely frozen in the craziest?
yes,
Okay, I'm gonna try and
yes.
fix my camera. Okay,
I
keep
was
talking.
like,
I can
is
hear
it
you.
me? Is it me? Am
No,
I the
I'm here. I
trouble?
can hear you.
Is it me, Jesus? Sorry, that's a TikTok thing. And I know that you're like somewhat new to watching TikToks, and it was a fad a little while ago. But anyway, the only reason it makes sense to me is that you know that people in the house found out about Michele and Laurel's conversation after the deliberation.
Right.
And Michele already has an instance in this week of power where she is acting a bit scared by not putting in bananas and bananas and Nani, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if then she doesn't follow up with like this thing that she has with Laurel and takes the easy way out of Colleen and Kim, I could see being like, no, 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 I'm not going to allow someone to like talk to me like this and then there be no repercussions. Like,
Yeah.
because no matter what, is there much of a difference between how Jack and Laurel are going to treat Jay when they come back to the house if they aren't the vote in, if they get voted in by someone pulling the dagger, or if they're just the vote in by Jay and Michele? Like, I think no matter what, these bridges have been burned.
I think so too, but I think having the final decision be made by someone else
Yeah.
could have been something that would at least take like a fraction of the heat off. Like if it was Veronica and Darrell that put Laurel in, like maybe they'll get some of the heat, or vice
Yeah.
versa if it's, Anissa or Jordan. Or if they put in Colleen and Kim and then made some kind of a deal with one of the other two vets, kind of like what happened last week, to say like,
Right.
hey, just don't put in these people. Like maybe that could have saved them some skin and been like, listen, I know we didn't get off at the right start, but I wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to like grow. And I know that, Jay and Jack are really good friends. So wanted to do whatever we could to keep you guys safe. And like, listen, if we could work something out, we can. And if not, then we can't. But like, I, put my neck out for you. Something. It just feels like or put them down there and just say like, listen, we tried to have a conversation with Laurel. It was a little, hard to get through, whatever. Hope you come back. But like, it just felt like the speech, especially because Jay was the one who said it. It just felt like it was over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made a bad situation so much worse for them.
Yeah, I think he was like trying to like not protect Jack, but be like, it's not you, it's her type of
But
thing
like,
in it.
well, he and Jack, I guess we didn't really talk about it, but he and Jack had a conversation afterward, after the deliberations.
Right.
And Jack was like, just give me the best chance to not go in and like, don't put me down. And then we can like work on something in the future. Cause it seemed like maybe they could save some things. And Jack was like,
Yeah.
listen, I'm not going to show him how pissed I am, but like, maybe we'll see like, what his actions are when it actually like matters. And they burned that. I think they could have had maybe an opportunity to work some things out if like Michele and Laurel could have had a normal conversation, or Michele like didn't take whatever Laurel said to her personally.
Yeah. I think the only way, not the only, but the most likely way that they didn't go in was if Colleen and Kim are put in by the vote or by Jay and Michele, and then they would have to pull the safe sword.
I think
Otherwise,
so
I think
too.
Anissa and Jordan save Veronica and Darrell. Obviously, we saw Veronica and Darrell save Anissa and Jordan, and I don't think that either of them would choose to save Laurel and Jack,
Jordan, maybe just because they dated.
which by the way, isn't like is next week's preview Laurel getting into bed with Jordan?
Fessy, I think. Fessel.
Oh, okay. I heard that Laurel and Jordan had
Oh my
some
God.
stuff go down in
Oh,
the
I
house.
thought it was Fessel. But
Well,
I
it
don't
could
know.
be. It could be. I mean, Colleen's gone, so it
Yeah,
could have
he's
been.
wide open. He's wide open.
Yeah. Um, but I'd heard that Jordan and Laurel had some.
Ooh, well, I know something happens with someone in Jordan because we have that preview of Tori being like, "You're cuddling with my ex-fiance."
Mhm. Maybe it was Laurel. I don't know, but
Maybe.
um, I still think I don't think that Jordan's not one to like put his neck out there for anybody. I don't
That's
think
true.
that he would try to like overturn like not let Anissa make that pick because
Yeah.
at, he's said at least like I'm here for Anissa to get this win, and
Yeah.
um Anissa is far more connected to people than like
That's true.
Laurel is. So
That's true.
otherwise like it's hard to I just can't even imagine Michele and Jay putting Jarrell and Veronica or Anissa and Jordan like straight in. I feel like that pisses
Yeah.
off too many people. So I don't know. I think it was hard for Laurel and Jack to escape once they were put in as one of the four. It was hard for them to escape
Mhm.
not actually being in this
Yeah.
elimination. The fly is back.
I agree with you.
So it ends up that Veronica and Jarrell don't exactly pull the sword, but they pick last, and the safe sword was left for them to choose.
Can I just
And
say a quick comment about the sword?
mhm,
The way that the last few episodes have been edited, it almost makes it feel rigged on who gets the sword. And I know it's just like they're filling in the blanks, but like the Tommy and Annalise situation was like clearly like, oh, this is like meant for them to pull the sword and have to make this awful decision for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then like this, it's like we saw the Veronica and Darrell conversation earlier, so we knew they would be like making a decision. It just felt like, you know how you can really read the edit? Obviously it's
Yeah.
not rigged because how could they do that? They had Veronica and Darrell pick last. It's not like they could tell them which one to pick. But it just, maybe they're just doing like such a quote unquote good job of editing it that it makes it seem
Yeah.
premeditated when obviously it's not, but it just feels that way based on the storytelling, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it like gives us the tension at the sword
Yeah.
pull.
Yeah. And Veronica's speech, like, definitely heightened the suspense because
Mm-hmm.
Veronica's like, we think we're going to keep being put in here. Should we save the people who are also likely to
Yeah.
keep being put in here? And they went to a commercial, so I had to wait 2.5 minutes to see if
Mm-hmm.
it was Anissa and Jordan that were going to go in against
Yeah.
Laurel and
Well, next
Jack.
week you
But
won't because you'll be able to fast forward right through when you use YouTube
right,
TV.
you're correct.
Not sponsored, but
No,
you
no
can
more
YouTube
Cherry
TV if
Lake
you want
video.
to.
So, um, after the commercial break, Veronica goes, but I'm going to play this game in the way that I like to, which is I want to help my friends succeed.
Yeah.
And they put in Colleen and Kim.
And Anissa was almost like annoyed by the speech. And she's like, I
Yeah.
thought I didn't have to say anything. But it's like, bro, she saved you. Like, chill.
Yeah. Maybe next time don't just assume that because you
Right.
two
You
have been connected via this show since
for 2 decades.
maybe before TJ Lavin was the host
Oh, for
that
sure. For sure.
um it's just automatic.
Yeah. For sure before TJ Lavin was the host.
Yeah. All right. So this elimination, there are okay. I have to figure out how to describe this. So basically, you've got 4 walls, and on opposite walls, there are 16, I think, like massive, almost like square pyramids. So, like,
Were
the
there 4 of them?
4 rows.
Oh, I thought you said walls.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's 4 because you had.
Oh, I thought it was just the 2. Like each one had their own like.
I thought it kind of was like built in like a so they had to hear each other or they could still hear each other. So it was like all connected. I'm thinking of like they were climbing if you have like a rectangle or a square room and they were
Mm-hmm.
climbing like the outside walls because the ones opposite each other had the big pieces on them and then the other side opposite
Oh,
each
oh
other
yeah. Okay, I
had
see.
the
Okay.
small pieces
Yeah.
that the
Okay.
person had to climb. So the opposite walls with the big pieces, they had 16 like square base pyramids that had these like different shapes and colors on them.
Yeah.
And then on the other pair of opposite walls, there was small versions of these pieces. And they were like kind of I don't know if you want to say they weren't bolted in, but they were like stuck to like the top third of the wall. And so the goal was for the people on we're gonna call it the big piece side, the big
Yeah.
piece to describe the pieces, and then the person on the little piece side would have to climb, get the pieces, and then put it in its location on the puzzle board. And so you
Yeah.
want to replicate the big wall on the puzzle board.
Yes.
And um so each team took a little bit of a different approach. Laurel did the climbing for the small pieces and putting the puzzle together. Jack did the describing of the pieces. And then for Colleen and Kim, Colleen described the pieces and Kim put the puzzle together based off the description. Colleen and Kim and Laurel took different approaches though. Kim
Mm-hmm.
just went up and grabbed all of his small pieces so he could assemble the puzzle.
Yep.
Laurel was like demanding to be told each piece as it was, and then she would find it, which
Yeah.
I do think that Kim had the better strategy.
I think so too. I think so too.
So on Banana's podcast, he didn't
Mm.
straight up say it. It was him and Tori this week. They didn't
Okay.
straight up say it,
My 2
but
favorite people.
it was implied that Colleen and Kim were not permitted to speak in German in this elimination.
Oh, wow. That's
Hmm.
kind of fucked up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like really fucked up. How did they
Yes.
imply? Like, what did they say? Do you know?
I had read, I think I had seen either tweets or an earlier Reddit post about it. And I remembered because I hadn't seen the episode yet, so I remember being like, "Huh, I wonder what this is about," especially
Mm-hmm.
as someone with an ESL certification, and I
Mm-hmm.
worked at an overnight camp where people from different countries sent their kid to our camp to like help immerse them in English,
Yeah.
and how angry some of the staff and especially some people who are higher up in power would be when they would hear kids speaking their native language. Um, yeah, it was a whole thing where,
Yikes.
but anyway, where I read this, I'm like, oh, I wonder, I want to see what happens before I make any judgments on this. But I think it's a very, very, very big disadvantage to not be allowed to speak your native language.
In a challenge that's like really based on communication.
Exactly.
And you're against two native English speakers. Like, it's not
Right.
fair. It's an immediate
Right.
disadvantage.
Yes. And it made me think of last season. Now, obviously, it wasn't in a challenge, but there was kind of like this heartfelt moment between Josh and Logan on season 37. Logan was from Colombia,
Mm-hmm.
right? No, Spain. Spain.
I don't know.
Logan was from Spain. I'm sorry. Logan was from Spain. Josh speaks Spanish, and
Josh is
so the
Cuban, right?
two. I don't want to say what. I know that he's Latin. I just don't know like what country. So if you want to look that up, you're more than welcome
Yeah, I'll
to.
look it
But
up. I think he's Cuban, but I don't know 100%.
he speaks Spanish. So they showed us this nice scene of like the two of them sitting outside and they were speaking in Spanish. And you
He's
see
Cuban.
Logan being like, you know, I hate speaking in English. It's nice getting to talk to someone and so, I mean, this is twice now that we're getting Colleen's getting fucked over because she speaks German first. We had her write an apology letter to Devin in German, which
Yep.
caused him to be angry, and then she's not allowed to speak in German in her elimination with her other German partner.
Yeah. Very uncool. Typical, though, or we shouldn't be surprised by this.
No, I'm not surprised at all. And they got like screwed over in the first elimination. It was like the cumulative age, and they're like, "What does cumulative mean?"
Right, right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, if this show wants to have international players on it, they're going to have to at least
Accommodate
like some
internationalities.
kind of
Is that a word?
accommodation. Tell them what cumulative means. Just be like, add them up, put them together, put the
Yeah.
numbers together, or like let them speak in German here. It's not fair. I mean, they could very easily just subtitle the show.
You could subtitle the show and like how is it an advantage that they're speaking
It's
German?
not because Laurel and Jack are speaking English and that's their native
Right.
language, and these two would be speaking German, which is their native language. So it's literally an even that would make it an even playing field.
So I am incredibly annoyed for them.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
And I mean it's not much to describe with what happens with the competition. Like Laurel gets her puzzle checked a couple times. It's not right.
Well,
Colleen is like
Laurel is just like a beast, as she
yeah.
is in eliminations. Like, we've seen this side of Laurel before, just screaming at Jack, like
Yeah.
hanging from the thing, looking just like a maniac. And Colleen and Kim are like keeping it pretty cool,
Yeah.
especially knowing what it sounds like was the case of them like wanting to speak in German and not being allowed to.
Yeah.
And they did really well. It seemed like they were communicating with each other much more effectively than Laurel just screaming at Jack.
And they ended up only being off by one piece, like one. I don't know if it was just turned wrong or
Yeah.
whatever. Um,
We got a great Nelly T moment of One Piece. Wow, One Piece. I love Nelson. Every Nelson moment just makes me smile.
so unfortunate. I mean, given I'm never really like rooting for Laurel to lose just because of what she brings to any TV show that she's on.
Mm-hmm.
But that would have been a really good upset for Kim and Colleen. Like I wasn't. There's usually times where I'm like, oh, please don't have like last week. If Tommy and Annalise come back over Kim and Colleen, I would have not liked that. Where like I see the value in either of these teams coming back, especially like a rookie pair who,
Yep.
again, is apparently involved in more drama than we're able to see. And one of them is hooking up with Fessy, like add something to the value of the house and the show. And I don't know, like I would have been quite okay with either team winning. But I just feel bad for them because they got fucked over by MTV's stupid rules.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. That really sucks. We have seen this happen many times of people getting fucked over by MTV's stupid rules. Specifically Laurel, this has happened
Yeah.
to. I feel like we've seen so many just like rough Laurel moments of her just being a total dick and then almost getting embarrassed by it afterwards. So it would have been kind of funny if we saw it again here, the way that she was acting, and then for her to just get like completely embarrassed. But I do stand by the fact that elimination with her and Ninja Natalie was a joke and not Laurel's fault at all.
Yeah, no, I
And that
agree.
they should have replayed it or just at least let her win.
It was also one of the greatest suckets of all time.
The greatest, the most embarrassing, secondhand
Yeah.
suckets of all time. Yeah. Yeah.
Just a well-rounded sucket in terms of
Yeah. Yeah.
its impact, its downfall.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Just being repelling down, like harnessed in and just in the air, like what quality, absolute
Yeah.
quality. So yeah, Jack and Laurel are back. And I'm sure that the next couple of days are not going to be fun for Jay and Michele,
Yep.
but it's really where we end.
Yeah. Yeah. No surprises at the end of the episode. TJ lets him leave right away. Goodbye to Colleen and Kim. That's it.
So I would take Colleen and Kim back. I liked
Me
both
too.
of them.
Yeah, they were a lot of fun. I like them both.
Yeah.
I really like Kim. I feel like he had a really good, like, funny but dry personality.
Yeah, he there was a couple moments this episode that made me laugh. I'm trying to remember. Oh, when he was rowing, he was people were just like, he looks like a Nordic god, like rowing
Yeah.
that boat. Just,
Yeah.
he's so good at this. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm fans. Bring them back for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, they were good.
But that is really the end of our episode. I do have a little bit of challenge adjacent. It's not adjacent. It still involves a challenge, but I don't
Is it
know if
about
you saw
CT?
this. Oh, I guess we have two things we can talk about.
Okay.
First of all, if CT wants to give me the time of day, sorry, Lavelle, but I'm out. Like,
Yeah.
I got bigger and better things to do.
CT back on the market, baby.
File
After
for-
that
which-
wedding special and everything.
I didn't watch the wedding special.
Neither did I.
I heard that in the wedding special, though, it kind of showed that they may not have really been set up for success. And
Yeah. I think they had some drama. Wasn't she on Bad Girls Club or something, this girl?
Was she? If she was,
I don't know. I could be making that up, but I think she might have been.
Okay. My like elementary school arch enemy was on Bad Girls Club.
Whoa.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
I remember my mom specifically saying in 5th grade out loud to not just me, but there was people around being like, that girl is going to grow up to be a slut.
Oh my God.
Now, I'm not slut shaming. I am all for you doing what you want to do. This was also back in like 1999 when we weren't as pro anything as we are now.
Yes.
But yeah, my arch enemy from elementary school. Yeah. Anyway, that's my connection to Bad Girls Club. But they were separated, I think, a couple years ago, but then ended up getting back together.
Yes.
Lily, but CT is single, or in the process of becoming single. So, dude, a single CT in the challenge house?
Get that guy back on the challenge.
Give him the check
with his
now.
With his renewed bod.
Yeah, it's season 39 already has the green light. So let's just call that like the challenge 39 single CT. That's the name of the challenge. That's the theme is CT is single.
Yeah.
So what I was going to bring up, I did forget about that, is D put out a podcast. And yeah, that D.
Oh God.
And um to talk about like her fall from reality TV, how one tweet she says, now I'm not saying this is true, her saying that one tweet like ruined her career essentially. So,
I
um
mean, it did. She made the tweet.
yeah. And here there's some details that we got from the first episode of her podcast. She essentially said that she was stuck here in America because it was COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in LA with like Georgia Harrison and Georgia from like Theo and
Why was
Georgia.
Georgia here?
She had been spending some decent time in LA as well. Like so I
Okay.
can't remember. Oh, and Maddie from like who's gotten a couple DUIs. Maddie. Sorry
Oh
to generalize
Jesus.
you that way.
Like
You know who I'm talking
rough, like really rough
about? Yeah, like the
situation
one
with Maddie.
from yeah, you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, isn't she like from Florida Bama Shore or something like that?
No,
Or some show like that?
she was on a CMT country music television reality TV show.
All right,
But
I'll keep my
she's
mouth shut.
so um yeah, they were partying out in LA for a while.
What a crew.
Um but she couldn't get back home due to COVID. So then she went to Kansas City, aka like where
Wes's
Wes,
house. Yeah.
yep. Um to work on that like patron project or the Patreon
Yeah.
project. And she implies that she fell in love with Nehemiah while spending time out there. Hmm. And they were never in a relationship or anything, but she fell for Nehemiah.
I
Yeah.
mean, understandable.
Yeah. I'm sure you weren't expecting that part,
Understandable.
but then once you say it out loud, it's like, well,
No, I
who
mean, like,
doesn't
who
fall
wouldn't?
for
Yeah.
Nehemiah? So, um, I guess she got very much into doing shrooms and acid as a
Oh,
way
good.
to decompress from the stress that she and like homesickness and whatever she was feeling. And the night she put out the tweet, she was high on acid. So she's like, I tweeted that. I didn't think anything of it. I went to sleep. I woke up and like my career was done. Um,
Can you? I don't remember what the tweet said.
well, I don't want to say it. I feel like you're setting me
No,
up.
no. I don't want you to say it, but can you give like the
She
sentiment of what she was trying to say without saying it in an offensive way? Obviously, we don't agree with what the tweet said. I just don't remember
so
what she
she
said. I know it was obviously negative and racist against black people, and it was in the wake of George Floyd, but I just don't remember
it
what
was
her point was,
something
what she was trying to
along
say.
the lines of like how I don't think anybody had called her racist. I don't know. I think people here's okay, let me backtrack. I think some of either her fans or challenge fans were giving her a hard time because she wasn't speaking up around that or at that
Right.
time
Okay.
about Black Lives Matter. And
Okay.
I don't know whether or not she said it publicly then, but this is her defense now. And obviously, like, this is a couple years later. She's had plenty of times to think about these or time to think about these things.
Yeah, it's taken her 2 years
What
to even say anything about it. So,
she would say, but she basically said like, I'm an Australian Asian woman. Like, I don't know enough about what's going on in America in terms of this to like feel like I need to be speaking out about this. Essentially is what she
mm-hmm.
said now. So that's what she said she was thinking then. So she
Yep.
tweeted something along the lines of like, how could I be racist? I think like the first guy I slept with was black or something like that.
Got it.
I don't know if
Yes, I
that's
just looked
verbatim,
it
but
up.
that is the general sentiment. And I'm only repeating what I'm not condoning or anything. Please, like, do
No,
not
I
just put
understand.
that and
Yeah,
put,
yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
I'm not
No, no,
talking to you,
no.
I'm talking to the internet. Like, um, that was not my tweet.
No.
So that was it. So I don't know if people were as upset with like the content of the tweet as much as it was like the timing and intensity of the tweet. And she's still saying like, listen, I I'm not racist. I just I didn't tweet anything racist. I tweeted something insensitive. And she also implied that she felt like she had connected with both Bailey and Swaggy P. Swaggy
C.
C.
Swaggy C.
Swaggy P is that Nick Young? Anyway,
Oh, yeah, I think so, right?
the basketball player.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Who hosted a challenge reunion for some reason.
yeah, here we are. We're full
Yeah,
circle.
full circle.
She didn't mention them by name, but she implied enough that people were able to connect the dots that she felt like she connected with them. She said at like a soul level, like these were people I thought were my best friends, and she felt like they turned on what she said to use it to like nitro. Sorry.
No, you're good.
They used it, what she said, as a way to push themselves forward in terms of being seen positively, in terms of like activism and just like overall online positivity, which again, I'm not saying that's true. I am just saying what she said. And so
That's a
she was
big
like,
yikes from me for
she
D.
was saying that she was very hurt by how especially they reacted
Well,
as
Bailey's response, I think, to her tweet was really what set everybody off
uh-huh.
about it. But like, fuck that. Bailey's a black woman.
Yeah.
I just feel
And
like this is even a bigger hole that Dee's digging herself into. To
yeah.
say, like, I thought I was friends with these two black people, but then they were offended by this thing that I said that was insensitive, and then they used it to look better. Like, that's wild to me. That's like just as offensive as her tweet to me.
Yeah. I think that I don't know like what I don't even think anything. Right now I'm reporting the
Yikes.
news. So
That's a big
um
yikes.
she also said that she was upset by how she felt that people that she was on the show with and had become friends with also used this as a way to like maybe not necessarily promote themselves, but like put themselves in a better light than her. Um, so it really seemed based off of the recap that I read that this person at least said like she didn't really seem apologetic for what she wrote because she still says like I didn't say anything racist. I said something insensitive and that like those are different things and so that
Wow.
was kind of it. But Nehemiah went live on Instagram and I didn't watch all of it, but
I love
he was
Nehemiah,
like
by the way. I hope this doesn't change my opinion of Nehemiah.
he basically just said like I didn't listen to a lot. So the only part I listened to I can tell you. Otherwise there's probably a little bit more to listen to, but um honestly the reason I didn't listen to it, the rest was because the commercial ended during the challenge and I had to watch four
Yeah,
and a
you
half
can't
TV
pause that
shows
shit.
this
Yeah.
morning
Yeah.
in order to be able to podcast tonight. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm on a time crunch and I never went back to it. But the part I heard him say was like, it sounds like somebody I know put out a podcast and talked about someone implying
Ooh,
it was
somebody I
me.
know.
And
Yikes. Ouch.
he was like, listen, in this moment, I'm going to give this person, I think, the love that they need because they're clearly in a space where like they need support. So
Jeez.
once I heard that, I was like, okay, the challenge is back. I gotta go. But there
Yeah.
might be more to it. He might have taken some with him leading off with that I was like, I don't know if I need to listen to a lot
Yeah.
more.
I mean, you know what his perspective is at that point.
But Nehemiah is also like the Zen master.
Yeah,
Like
he's a good guy.
he's I think it would take a lot to truly rattle him because also like in my experience of so like something that my boyfriend said to me was like we were talking about how just we get along really well, like we rarely argue or whatever, and he was like I have to face all this adversity outside of our relationship every single day. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is nothing new to me being like a black man in America. Like,
Yeah.
things that I hear or see that are racist or whatever. Like, this isn't I'm sure that this isn't the first time that Nehemiah has had to experience being like adjacent to something like this.
Sure.
So, um, I just like, once he said that, I feel like it would take something bigger and badder to rattle Nehemiah than it would. And
Yeah.
Nehemiah isn't going to come out swinging on something like that.
No, for sure. I just think it's gross of D. I looked up the tweet from Bailey, and what Bailey said in response to D's tweet was, "This is not how you support Black Lives Matter. I'm disgusted and disappointed. This is not a trend. This is life or death for us. Posting for clout about the death of Black people. Shame on you." So her response to D is essentially what D is accusing other people of doing, instead of like actually standing up for what's right and explaining why D's tweets were inappropriate and insensitive and racist and microaggression-y. Like, and D is still taking the defensive and accusing other people of what Bailey basically said to her.
Yeah.
Wild.
So D is, I mean, she's putting out a series of, it's not just this one podcast.
So is she hosting this, or this is like, is she by herself?
She has, I think, a co-host who's kind of like helped is like guiding the conversation, like asking questions. So it's more of
Who asked for this?
There's a corner of the internet that's going to listen to it.
Well, whoever recapped it on Reddit, thank you.
That person said they were very sick with COVID, which is why they did us that favor.
Well, I hope they feel better.
Like, I have nothing else to
I'm
do.
sure this didn't make them feel much better. Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. But putting that on the radar that you might see some stuff about that.
Ew. Gross.
Yeah, I went to Reddit. Oh, I remember why it happened. I went to Reddit to find like, where did I see that Colleen and Kim weren't allowed to speak German? And then this was like pinned to the top as like a mega thread because there was a lot of stuff coming up about it. So I was like, oh shit, I better read some of this. And then
yeah,
that was that.
I Googled D just now. Have you seen her Instagram? And I'm not slut shaming.
Nope.
But she seems to. Does she have an OnlyFans? Is that what she's doing these days?
Maybe.
I mean, shout out to her, I guess. I mean, we don't like her.
Oh,
but like,
her next podcast is going to talk about when she did DMT and had the best orgasm of her life. So it would be on brand with what you're saying.
It's just like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Not what I expected. Again, like, you do you. I'm just surprised. I was surprised by it. That's all. I don't know what I was expecting.
To have the most fucked up search history.
Sorry. I just put D the challenge, and the first thing that came up was her Instagram. And I clicked it thinking it was actually her Twitter. And then I was like, oh.
All right. Well, if I click her, whatever this, get exclusive content.
Yeah, is it OnlyFans?
Jesus, Katie.
Sorry, I could also click
it. This is
an
18 plus content warning.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an OnlyFans.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And her bio is "Welcome to the land down under, baby."
Oh my lord!
If I want to buy a 12-month subscription, I almost said prescription, like I need the medication. It would only be. I would get
maybe it's medicine for someone.
$120.
$120.
Well, it's $20 a month, so
that's a lot for a band. Like barely like someone that's been on the challenge.
Pauly used to only be like $5 a month.
Yeah, like I feel like there are people who are much cheaper than that. Not that I'm like deep in the OnlyFans game or anything, but like that feels like it's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, this dog's cute.
Well, all right. Well, okay, D. I guess good luck in your new career. Sort of. Yeah. We don't like you, so I'm not judging you for your choices here. I'm judging you for your choices in your life, just generally.
Yeah, so she more or less like blamed it on. She didn't blame it on, but she was like, I was high on acid when I wrote this.
Wow, that's rough.
So there's that.
Cool. Way to take accountability.
Mm-hmm.
You're
So,
awesome. Killing it. You're doing great.
well,
I
now
was
I'm done.
not
Hey!
expecting D news.
Oh, I thought Nitro was chewing the wall. It's his paw. Okay. His dog. All right. Yeah, so we ended with D news, and
Yeah.
hopefully that's the last time we do that.
Hopefully.
Anything else we need to say about the challenge?
No, I don't think so. We talked about
Great.
CT. That was the only other thing. Yeah.
We have stuff to talk about after this
We do.
concerning the Real Housewives. So,
Yes.
um, let's round this up quickly then.
Yeah, let's do
Katie,
it.
what are you doing on the internet these days?
Well, you can find me on Twitter while it still exists at
Yeah.
Real Slim Katie. You can also find me on Twitch, which I think will be alive a little bit longer, hopefully, than Twitter at twitch.tv/Real Slim Katie with an underscore at the end. You can also hear me on Silent Podcasts. It's slowing down a little bit these days. TV is ending finally. So we just finished our last episode of Fire and Pod this week. You can hear Naomi and I talk all things about the incredible show, and or you don't even really need to be a Star Wars fan to be into it, so please just check it out. Like, I promise you it's the best show on television, or on streaming, I guess, since it's on Disney Plus. But Naomi and I will talk about that on the high ground. There's only 2 episodes left of that show, sadly. And you can hear Kari and I in just a couple of minutes talking about all things Real Housewives, as we do on the Cool Water Show.
Yeah, and you thought we got off topic here.
Yeah,
So
just
join
wait.
us over on that
Just wait.
show.
Just wait.
I'm KGD26 on all of the platforms, so you can follow me. I don't think I'm doing anything too interesting at the moment on any of them. So the next 4 weeks or 5 weeks are going to be not a lot for me unless you want me to send you my homework. Then I will. That'll be at a different email, but just tweet me and then I'll send you my homework. You can proofread my stuff. Yo, here's something wild. I told my roommate about this. The professor I have right now is the fastest at grading things. I told you earlier I was doing homework, right?
Yeah.
So the way my homework is set up is I have discussion board posts. Your initial post is due by Thursday at midnight, essentially. And then you have to reply to 2 classmates by Saturday at midnight. So
Okay.
Got home from lunch/brunch, jumped on here. I was like, let me get these done because I know I'm not going to want to do them after we podcast. So I did them around 5 my time, or I probably finished doing them by like 5:30 at the latest my time. And I don't know if you use the like summary, the like notification summary option on your iPhone, but I
Oh.
put my school notifications in that. So basically, like if I get a notification from Canvas about like homework or anything else, I'll only get them at 8 in the morning or at 6 p.m.
What? I did not know that this was a thing. I need to use
Oh
this
yeah,
feature for
yeah,
every
yeah.
Twitter group chat that I've ever been in.
Yeah, notification summary is like phenomenal. It's one of the better things they've done. So you can like set up when you'd want to get it. So I think like the auto one is 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Because I was
Amazing.
in a class, I can't remember what semester it was, but like we had 30 something announcements before the class even started. And this dude would send like multiple announcements a
Oh
day.
my
And
God.
I was like, I can't do this. So plus like almost nothing is pressing with those notifications. So like my LinkedIn ones are in there because I'm like
Yeah.
not, but whatever. So I finished by 5:30, right? 6 o'clock, my notification summary comes up. My assignment has been graded. I'm like, how do you move this fast? I handed this in
Wild.
30 minutes ago. She's been like this all semester. So like I have a presentation that I need to do, and I guarantee you that we could do our podcast tonight. I could finish it, and I think by the time I wake up, or I could do the assignment after, and by the time I wake up, like it would be graded. It is wild. Like it's like
Wow.
sits on the computer and waits for these assignments to come in to
That makes
grade
me feel
them.
bad.
Me too, because she's a principal, so she like already has.
Damn.
Um, yeah, I don't know. So anyway, it was just wild to me. I'm like, why? It is Saturday afternoon/evening. Like, go get a nice dinner.
Yeah, go have a glass of wine out with a friend or a partner or whoever, or
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah. So anyway, if you want to read my homework as quickly as my professor does, just let me know. I'll send it to you. And then for podcasts, I'm just doing this in Real Housewives right now. That's it. That's it.
It's our slow season.
And you know what? I
It's
need it
great.
right
I
now.
needed to. I needed to.
So I'm
I'm
fine
very
with that.
thankful. I'm thankful for it. What else I'm thankful for? Some news to share to those watching, listening, and to you. As we were podcasting, the Democrats officially have control of the Senate.
Fuck yeah! Let's
Yeah, we did it.
go.
We did it. We did it. So we just have the House to go. But Nevada, Catherine Cortez Mastro won officially. They called it for her in Nevada Senate. So suck it,
Um,
baby.
and then, like I almost said like Lavelle, like Laurel said in
Like
her
Laurel.
in
Yeah.
her confessional at the end of the
Yeah.
show.
Exactly. Exactly.
Um, a close related to this was, as you know, I did Sister District,
Yes.
and we supported 4 candidates where a lot of the chapters only supported 2. We took on 4 for some reason, and all 4 of our candidates won, which
Hey,
is
great job. That's great.
really, yeah, it like I like to be someone who isn't just like talk about it, but be about it.
Yeah,
And
I
like
love
I had
that.
friends on election day who were like, I'm so nervous for blah. I'm like, bitches, you just sat there and you did
Mhm.
jack shit. Like
Yeah.
you know what? Like, do not come to this group chat and fill this place with like nervousness and anxiousness when you didn't do anything to help the cause. And so I
Yeah.
didn't say any of that though. I kept it inside. But it was just very nice to like know that my efforts both
Yeah.
with like phone calls and social media and I went up in canvas for one of them. Like the one I went in canvas for, she is the fucking best. And so like she was the
Amazing.
first one we found out that won, and I was just I was like genuinely emotional for this woman.
Oh,
So
that's great.
I'm just very excited. So
Congrats. That's
yeah.
awesome.
But now I'm even more excited.
Me too. Red Wave who?
Right. Roe v. Wade should have overturned it. They could have, honestly, Republicans could have had a much better midterm if Roe v. Wade hadn't been overturned.
Yep. Shot themselves in the foot with that one.
Yeah. So, all right, let's round this out. Listen to us, like YouTube, Twitch, wherever I put the thing up. Valencia, don't tag me in this. Okay, so um, Silent Podcast on Twitch and YouTube. Search that, subscribe. All of our videos are there. You can see me spilling my water live as opposed to just hearing it, the ASMR of it. You can get the live video instead. We are also on Twitter at silent_podcast. Then you can listen to us in podcast form, Apple, Spotify, anywhere else you listen. So just rate, subscribe, 5 stars, or keep it moving. We don't like anything less than 5 stars. If this wasn't 5-star content, come back in 10 minutes. We'll have another podcast for you. And say something nice. We like getting nice comments. But
Yeah.
otherwise, we'll be back next week to talk about the next episode of the challenge and hopefully no more D content. But until
Hopefully not.
then,
Yeah, I don't need to hear about her DMT orgasms. I'm good
yeah.
on that.
No. Same. So I will not be even looking for that one on Reddit. But until then, thanks for listening, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.